Hello, everyone. I'm Ronit on the East Coast,
And WizCate on the West Coast. And we are
and we are
hopelessly
hopelessly
unedited.
unedited. Yeah,
Good luck to our listeners, viewers with this podcast because we're not editing. Fuck all.
yeah,
It is what
pretty
it is.
much. Yeah, it'll be fun though. Because last episode we talked about Chinese New Year, and so that conversation kind of meander around the Chinese astrology because this year is the fire horse. Kind of crazy. Or WizCate was born the year of fire horse. And I think we mentioned that in Japan, people took it seriously. That particular year where Kate was born, there's a drop of birth rate because fire horse has this characteristic of just really non-traditional and doesn't want to be conformed to anything, highly intelligent, highly driven. These are all supposed to be good things, but if you're a female Japanese woman, they consider that kind of characteristics not marriageable. So, and also like in relationship realm, they don't want to be confined to tradition as well. I'm a fire goat, so luckily the horse and the goats are friends. So here we are. um, so we want to like dive a little bit deeper on these silly Chinese astrology. So I did a bunch of research. I'm not a Chinese astrologer, but there are tons of um, information online these days. So I did some research.
You can pretend to be
I'm
one.
gonna let Kate ask me questions.
You can pretend to be a Chinese astrologer. That would fit really well with the goat, right? Are you supposed to be an entertainer or some sort of creative person?
Well, for me,
Yeah.
so goats are usually, pretty artistic, but we've talked about I can draw, but I do like colors, I like fashion and things like that. I like to decorate. So if you call that art, I just cannot draw it. So this is always one of my problem is I have these ideas and I have a hard time explaining it verbally and I can't draw it. I went through a big remodeling on the West Coast. I'm going through another remodeling here on the East Coast, and I just have a hard time communicating my idea with my husband. But I usually just say, you just need to trust me on this. And afterwards, he liked it. So, he's used to the drill that, yeah, I can't draw it out. So that's the problem. But
He
go
better
ahead.
trust you.
What were you going to ask me, Miss Kate?
He better trust you. No, I was just going to say, art isn't necessarily like painting. It isn't just that, sculpting, whatever. It's also being an entertainer. And if I know anything about you, you're an entertainer. In fact, you started that podcast. You were like, oh, I want to entertain the masses because we're so goofy and that's what I want to do. And you started it, and this is you. You're an entertainer. So you're an artist.
Well, as I told you a long time ago, I was sitting around with a couple other ladies' friends and we met once a week and just like hang out and we talk about the craziest thing. And I always said, oh, we should just record it and people watch it. And then one of my friends is like, nobody's going to watch us. And you know what? A few years later, that show The View was on. There's just like a bunch of women talking about stuff. So right now, I'm just making my BS a reality. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, it's always
Anywho,
been real for me,
so
but you're sharing that broader and wider. So as a goat, so what are some of the top characteristics and traits of the goat? And then do you think they're enhanced with the fire? Because there's the 5 elements. You're going to tell us about those, right?
mhm.
And I think we skimmed over last time, but we didn't talk about that very well. So please tell us about the 5 elements,
Yeah.
and then tell us if the fire goat is worse than the regular goat. Like, is it just more? Not worse,
Yeah.
right? But like just more. Enhanced.
I mean, I feel like these animals, they, we have that story about the Jade Emperor get the animals in the race, but these animals, when you look at them, there's specific characteristics, which holds pretty true. Like for goats, we're kind of compassionate, gentle, supposed to be artistic, and just one of the things is that we sometimes we lack a little bit of backbone for goats, but with the fire elements that change things.
I think your husband would say
So
that's not true.
I feel like for me, sometimes I don't speak up. It's not because it's not lack of backbones. Is I like to pick my battles. So when I open my mouth, I want to have the most impact. So when I worked at tech, sometimes I surprise my managers because I seem to be really quiet because I tend to sit back and listen. And then when I open my mouth and disagree, they all looked at me like, whoa, she can speak.
What just
She
happened?
has a voice. I know. Something like that. But I think that's like kind of fire comes in that, I still feel like a lot of the goats I met, of course I went to school with 140, 60 of them when I was in junior high and high school, my class. Many of them are, have some basic characteristics are consistent, and however we manifest a different way because that's when the elements come in, that the elements from our birth month, birth day, and the hour of our birth. So it has a lot to do with it. Like for fire goat is the framework fire, like these housing developments, they have cookie cutter houses, everybody has 2,000 square feet, has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, right? Everybody has that. But when you walk in, the personality comes through. It's like people decorate differently, their cleaning habit or however ways. And, that's just the difference.
You
For
compare
fire
yourself to a
goat,
house.
or I compare myself to what?
To a house just now, did you?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And all
my
your
body.
fellow goats you grew up with. So having 100 and whatnot goats and fire goats at that when you were growing up in the same school, and a whole bunch of them in the same classroom. Do you think that you're all similar? Like, if anybody broke out in song like you do, right? You sing a fair amount. Did everybody else just go and sing with you?
No. When I was in elementary school, I was always the tallest kid, but somehow I was bullied. I went through the cycle of being not doing or saying much to getting bullied, and then kind of latch on to some people that would kind of protected me, to a group that people won't bother them. And then in junior high school, I started doing a lot of sports, and then my whole world was sports. So that's kind of my life. I wasn't a choir, but I wasn't like singing a lot or anything. I guess it's maybe because of the culture as well. I try to kind of fit in and not stand out per se. You know what I mean?
Okay. So do you think that being a fire goat makes you more goat? And then you haven't spoken about the 5 elements.
Yeah. So there, of course, there's the metal, which the Chinese character they use the character gold, the wood, water, fire, and earth. 2 years is fire horse, fire goat, and then the next year is the monkey. Then that is actually the earth element with that monkey year. So because there are 5 elements, it rotates every 2
No, wait.
years, and then you have the 12.
It rotates every 2 years? I
So you
thought it
don't have 12
rotated every
years straight
12
of
years.
fire.
Okay. So
But
like everybody
no,
after
it
the
rotates
goat.
every 2 years.
So what? So we
Mhm.
have like, how many signs do we have? Like 12, right?
12. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they are? So like,
Uh,
when do we get back to metal? We get back to metal after which sign? I could look it up, but
okay,
hey.
this is a lot of in-depth information.
Yeah, never mind. Don't worry about it. So
Yeah,
so
cycle of elements is it's wood. Sorry, it's earth.
so do you think that the the fire horse or the fire goat which one of the two would appreciate the little red envelopes the most?
I
The
think
little red
everybody
envelopes
does.
is
It's got
something you
money in
get
it.
during the Chinese New Year, right? Like it's full of lucky money.
Yeah,
So,
lucky
do you
money. Yeah.
think you would appreciate it more as a fire goat, or I would as a fire horse?
I think every kid, because well, mostly kids get it, because it's married given to unmarried. So there's some older people that are not married. They technically they're still getting it, but some just like yeah, don't give it to me, just give it to kids. I think for little kids, everybody liked it, right? Like because you have your pocket money from your parents, and all of a sudden there's an influx of change. We count it every year, and then we know exactly which neighbor or relatives or friends they give more. After a few years, the kids figure it out, and you could totally tell some kids they would just so nice, so well behaved when they go to these households for the visits or something, and you can just totally tell. Yeah, I think all kids love it, regardless of the
So,
signs.
yeah, but do you think the goat would appreciate it more than the horse, or the other way around?
I don't, I never thought about that. I think it just depends on how poor you feel.
Yeah,
If you feel
yeah. I
poor,
don't
any
think
money is good, right?
I I don't think neither you or are very money driven in general. It's just kind of it's nice to have it, but it's not. I mean, it's not
Hmm.
like an end game for us. So I know you did
But
it
we're
this year
fire.
because so that I could.
Fast.
What?
We're fire. We have the fire elements. We move fast. Like money and anything move fast for us. So it's not something that we dwell on, I guess, if you want to
Yeah.
say that. I think like the earth element, it's not really the sign. I think the elements really ground each sign. I think the earth elements, people are born with whatever year, has the earth elements. I think they would appreciate and accumulate and saving more than
So
fire sign,
likewise, when we
honestly.
get into like the Earth goat, you're probably more worried about money that year than you are in any other. So every 60 years or
Probably,
something, you're
I
really
would
worried
say
about
so.
money.
Hmm. I
Yeah, that's
think
interesting.
because it's a more grounded sign, they worry about building the foundation and things like that. I think those are better savers
So
than me.
so the so the element. So you said the elements are grounding the signs. So what so each element is it goes on for 12 years in a row, and all zodiac signs go through the entire so go through the element. So and then you switch to the other element, and then again you layer on the
Hmm.
12 signs. So
Yeah, so the elements
what,
every 2 years they switch.
every 2 years or every 12 years?
Two. Every 2 years. So like we have fire horse this year, fire goat. Next year is monkey. It's not fire monkey, it's an earth monkey. The element shift.
Why does it do that?
So your sign is just the way it is.
Okay,
That's how they
I'm
that's
gonna
how they
have to
do it.
look into that. I
So
thought it was 12 years. So like if you were in
mm-mm.
fire, you were fire for 12 years, and then 12 years of. So it's not like that. Well, that's fucked up.
No,
It's really complicated to try and keep track of all of that.
it is.
I'm glad
It
somebody on the
is
internet tells
very
us when it's
complicated.
coming up.
So that's why it's every 60 years you get a fire goat, a
So,
fire horse and a fire goat.
I know you did this year. You said this year you were like, oh, it's fire horse and it's my sign. So you looked into what your year was going to be like. But do you often do that? Do you so like when a year comes up, like last year was a snake, I think. Did you look how the goat would fare in the year of the snake? Because
Um every year I kind of, you have these news thing pop up from like Google or something, and it would say that, and I'll read it. But I never really looked into how everything works until, that question you gave me the last episode. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. And let me try to figure it out. And that's when I found out this like 2-year rotation of the elements. And then, 12 years, you have the sign rotate and you have the element rotate. And then the day of your birth also rotate, and they are in like a 60-day cycle. And it was like completely crazy. And then you have the hour. The hour is fixed. The month is it's another like crazy cycle. So every year is different. There's actually a calendar you can buy, and you can specify, not buy, actually it's free. You just need to specify from what year to what year that you want. It will have all the, like, say I was born in September, right? And then whatever day I was born, then you can use your Western calendar and look up the Chinese month. So my Chinese month actually from the Chinese calendar is July and whatever date it was. And you can look it up, and then also has the elements for the month and for the date associated with it. And then the hour is fixed. So we have 24 hours a day, but the Chinese hour is only 12. There are 12 different hours. So it's like about every 2 hours is one Chinese hour.
See, maybe you went into the wrong business, because like being a Chinese astrologer seems to me like having all these things rotating is job security. It's like,
No,
I
it's just
see.
Anybody can look it up.
No, I know, but being an astrologer, you would probably be like able to charge people so that you do the work and they don't have to look it up. But it seems to me like it's kind of like for tax season, like everybody's busy in April, end of March, early April. We're all like doing taxes.
Yes.
For a Chinese astrologer, you would probably be busy like in December and go like, shit, and doing everybody's stuff for the next year. And then you have 11 months to just fuck all and spend the money you've made being a Chinese astrologer, professional Chinese astrologer. I think that's a good career.
Well, those people also start researching for the next year. A lot of them write books about the next year. So they would get the book written, I don't know, by August for the next year, prediction and all that. So you get it published. So it'll be on the shelf by November or December or something like that, right? I mean, and you're right though, a lot of people in the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, they want to figure out what's going on.
So okay. So which of the New Year superstitions, we talked about like the 15 days, and there's some stuff you must do on certain days and some stuff you can't do on the other days, whatever. Which of these superstitions do you follow
now?
Yeah. You still
I
follow.
don't give people clocks. We talked about it. I would never give people a clock.
Why?
I still won't do it. Well, because you give a clock, the Cantonese, it's songzong, it's different words, but the pronunciation is the same. It's I'm going to a funeral.
Time's up.
So I would never
That's
give
what it
people a
is.
clock. I would never give people a clock. And
So you wouldn't give them a
I
clock
still don't do
any
that.
time of the year? A
No,
clock, a watch,
never.
or nothing like that? Okay.
Watch I would, because it's a different name. A clock specifically, no, I still would not do that.
Do you ever buy yourself a clock?
Yeah, but that's okay though. I'm not giving it as a gift. I'm not giving. I'm just buying.
I see.
It's like a completely different thing. So,
What else?
no, I'm not. I bought shoes. We talked about Chinese New Year, the first month. You're not supposed to buy shoes because it sounds like a big sigh. I haven't, even when I was in Hong Kong, living in Hong Kong, I would go buy shoes behind my mom's back because it's cheap, because a lot less people would buy shoes in January, Chinese January. So they always have big sales. So I would go and buy shoes behind my mom's back and I would hide it. She didn't know I bought shoes.
So no shoes. No clocks.
And
okay.
then books are not a good thing to give. Books in Cantonese is shu. Shu also mean losing in gambling. So you don't want to buy a book
Bad luck
either. Yeah.
So if you're born in that during that period and you are really like you're a cobbler, a shoemaker, and somebody for your birthday buys you a book about shoes, you're fucking out of luck for a very long time. Or you better burn it or
I
kill the person who gave it to
Yes,
you.
exactly. That's what my mom said. My mom said just burn it.
So when she noticed you had some new
Yeah,
shoes,
burn it.
she burnt the shoes.
Oh, she never found out I bought shoes. I hid it very well. And in February, I wear them. And it's like, oh, you got new shoes? When did you buy it? I said, an hour ago.
Here's the receipt. Okay, so let's talk about you and me a little bit. You know, Fire Horse, it's still my year. We've been talking about the goat a fair bit. But let's talk about us as friends, you know. So between us,
Mhm.
we've known each other for decades now. We're not going to tell people how many decades again, because we've already said that before. But who makes faster decisions between you and me?
Me.
Than me?
I think it's me.
Really?
I'm like really quick. Because you know I talked about the year, hour, and stuff like that. Because I'm fire goat. My hour. It's also horse hour, which is fire element as well. So I double the fire. I
You're
was
on
born
fire.
at noon.
You're super on fire.
Yeah.
So,
I
okay.
double the fire. I have a lot of
So
fire.
you make decisions faster than I do. And what about who would change? So if we had made a plan, because we've done that many times, you and I, professionally, we've made plans, but who would change the plan about like halfway through or whatever? Would it be you or me?
You? Or is that me?
I don't know.
I don't know. I am super quick. Because usually, like, bam, 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 I would execute it. I'm get it done. And I was like, oh shit, it doesn't work. Plan number 5. You're more of a thinker. You're more methodical. So midway through, you can see that it's not working. And then you would say pivot.
So I'm talking about in terms of goat and horse, you know, like we know each other really well. And so we know what we would do. But I think if you answered saying like you're as a horse, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so do you think that being we have 2 years of fire, we're on fire for 2 whole years, you and I. There's going to be like real development change and lots of drive this year. Do you think that the element of fire makes us more similar or more different? Because we're both on fire in the next 2 years. So do you think the fire makes the horse and the goat more similar? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the underlying element is fire. We both have that drive and we want to get things done and all that.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of earth as well because that my month that year is monkey and it's earth, it's more grounding. And the day is dragon. It's also earth with some hidden water elements. So I think I seem to, you said I'm diplomatic. I think I kind of hold things back a little bit to sit and wait on the kind of the social sense. I would do that more like interpersonal thing. I tend to do that, just kind of, sit on it a little bit.
You like people to like you.
But I don't know your month and day element. I don't know how that affects you. But I'm double fire. Double fire, earth,
I'll look it up, I think. I guess.
Some water.
So let's go again to its light. So between you and me, so here we are. We've made a decision. We've started a project. We're in the middle of it and we're pivoting it. And then, which one of us, between the horse and the goat, would start off a whole new project? Who's more likely to kick off a whole new project, even though we already have one going?
I think horse. No, because they are just more driven.
Okay. Those are questions for you I've not answered.
It's not a bad thing.
I said those are just questions for you. I'm not answering those. Those are your answers. It's kind of interesting for me. So so you said that you make decisions faster than I do, that I would start a project. So you don't think I move too fast, do you?
No, I don't.
Do you, and you
I
said
don't
that I'm
think
a
you move
thinker,
too.
so do you think I overthink too much?
Honestly, I think that everyone overthinks things, except for my oldest daughter because she's a carbon copy of me. Her and I are in pretty lockstep. But other than that, I really think everybody just overcomplicate and overthink things. Maybe I'm just a little, scattered because things changes so fast, especially these days, and I rather just try it and see. You can just like do it again.
Um,
So I will
so
be a very bad criminal.
yeah, probably true. Whereas I would probably be a very successful criminal. And maybe I already am, and who knows? Maybe I'm just a kingpin, a queenpin.
No,
So who?
that would be
So
cool.
if we went to the project party, the end of the project to celebrate it, who's more likely to leave early? The independent horse or the autistic goat?
I think the independent horse. Like if that party doesn't interest you, you'll just like adios, whatever. I'm leaving.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm kind of like, okay, if you want me to stay, I'll stay to the bitter end. I'll find things to entertain myself. It's just me.
So the horse is independent and it's also a decision maker, right? It's we're known for that theoretically, and goats are more known for decision committee, decisions. So let's get everybody on board. So if you think about it, do you prefer? Let's talk about it professionally, not privately, right? Like in a professional setting, do you prefer a horse in charge, or like a decision-making horse in charge, or a committee decision maker goat in charge?
Horse.
You would trust a horse
I can't
more
take
than the
committee.
goat committee. Why? Is it because we get shit done
Yeah,
faster? No, because you get shit done faster.
yeah. Like the horse can just like speak for me. I don't have to fight with people. The horse already does the battle and I just like get it done, get it out of the way, so I won't be bothered.
Okay. So then, so let's say I leave the party and people are super unhappy, and I make you come with me, and so we leave, and the next day we run into our boss, and between you and I, who's more likely to apologize for leaving the party early?
Me?
Probably true.
Maybe me. Yeah, but I would just be kind of like, hey, sorry, no big deal.
I love that.
You're getting a kick out of this.
So as a horse, right? You've known me for a long time. You've read about the goats and the horse here. You've read about the fire horse and fire goat, obviously. Which of the fire horse traits drives you more crazy? It may not be a fair question, but I don't care.
Which one drives me more crazy? Is when we are in a group setting, when the fire horse says something that's unfiltered, and it drives me crazy because there's some other people in the room. I mean, I don't care, but some people in the room will be like, WTF? And and I just didn't like that kind of energy, I guess. So, but fire horse is very not filtered. It's not just you.
Yeah.
I know other fire horse. There's no filters. So
So,
And I appreciate it, but in a big group setting, it makes me uneasy,
so
if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, we said before that you are more diplomatic and more, you know, so the goats are diplomatic and the horse are more direct. But do you think that you having access to a horse, a fire horse, do you think that this is a difficult question, but I'm going to ask it. Do you think you have pushed the fire horse to stand up to do to battle it out while you stood back and did all the emotional repairing and dealt with the emotional strategy? Do you think you have cunningly done that?
No,
Not
I have
cunningly,
not. No,
not knowingly.
I have not. I'm pretty bad at manipulating people to do things in general, so I just won't do it.
Okay.
I would be a very bad criminal, a very bad politician. It's just not my thing. I wouldn't do it. So
Okay. Well, you know, I appreciate all the things about the goat. Like this, to me, it's nice to have a goat in my life. So my wife is goat. She's fire
it's
goat.
nice to have a goat.
And then there's you. And, you know, I just kind of go in there and heads down, you know, like I'm like, I want to get to the bottom of this shit and I don't want to waste any time. Like I hate wasting time. And so doing all the little diplomatic political dances and stuff like this, I hate that. I think it's useless and it's just about ego, and I don't care about ego. I don't care about you know, if you're going to feel bad, you're going to get over it, and because I feel bad and I get over it too. So I appreciate having living in America, right? Being French and all, and living in America. I appreciate having goats in my life because it helps me, American goats, because it helps me understand the intricacies. So, like, Americans are like little snowflakes, you know, like you can't, ooh, you gotta be careful and be nice to them, blah, blah, blah. But in France, you just kind of, you're fucking idiot. You can't do something like that, blah, blah, blah. So we say it, you know, and here we don't. So I appreciate having a goat to sort of regulate me in my life in that way.
Yay!
Because I
Just think
don't, you
about
know,
it.
like I still don't. And I think
Well, you
I,
know,
I have a hard time with it.
life is like you're having a messy backyard. You can always send the goats in to clean it up. Hmm?
I
Hmm?
know they eat all the shit. I'm like, well, I'm going to get 3 or 4 goats because I need to get it done fast.
You rent a herd. You can rent a herd of goats.
And in the meantime, I'm just going to go and do something else. So, like, to the
Yeah.
questions we had before, you know, I think I make decisions faster than you do, actually. I just have to wait. Most of the time, I have to wait for people to catch up to me.
Yeah.
I think
that
that
it's
you
a
make
learned
fast
skill.
decisions, but you still worry about what other people are going to think about the decisions you make. And so that slows you down a little bit. When it comes to starting a new project, I really believe that I would start that sooner than you, because once a project is underway, I'm not interested anymore, like until something happens and I got to go and fix it. I just,
Yeah.
I don't have any follow through to the end, like the drive to get something completed 100%. That's not my jam. You know, it's boring and uninteresting. So I'd rather go do something else. And I always believe that getting it done to 80% is probably just fine, because otherwise you spend a huge amount of time getting the last 20% done. So, but I think that politically and emotionally, you are way more attuned to your surroundings than I am. And I think it's because you care about it, whereas I don't give a shit in general about the feelings of the entire room. You know, tone it down a little, thinking like I'm in public, and yeah, I do like to be liked too, but I don't like being liked as much as you like being liked. So I think those are like some of the big differences between goats and horses, and it makes us very
Yeah.
compatible because we are able to watch for each other's stuff. So like the lack of decision making that happens sometimes with goats, and I see this, with other goats in my life. Like it can be crippling, for a goat to try and make a decision because the two options are bad. And so picking the best of the bad options is not something that goats do very well. Whereas horses go like, well, let's just do this. And if we fail, we'll just do something else. So I think we're faster decision makers there. Just an opinion. We were both retired, and I stopped working 4 or 5 years ago. I don't remember. But if we work together in 5 years here, this year and next year, we would be on fire, literally on fire. Fuck. We would be badass. It would be kicking butt and taking names. But we're on time. Let's go.
Or we burn everything in our path. So, but anyhow.
Yeah. Well,
So it's good that we put fire horse and fire goat in discussion this time. And until next time. And I'm Ronit on the East Coast.
and I'm WizCate on the West Coast. Be seeing you. And we are
hopelessly
unedited.
unedited.
And we're showing this off this
So
time.
until
very
next
unedited.
time, everybody, see you soon. Bye.